Luka, chapter 24. But on the first day of the week, at early dawn, they came to the tomb, bringing the spices which they had prepared. And they found the stone rolled away from the tomb. And they entered in, and found not the body of the Lord Yeshua. And it was, while they were perplexed thereabout, behold, two men stood by them in dazzling apparel. And as they were affrighted and bowed down their faces to the earth, they said to them, Why seek ye the living one among the dead ones? He is not here, but was raised. Remember how he spoke to you when he was yet in Galilee, saying that the Son of the Man must be delivered up into the hands of sinful men, and be crucified, and the third day rise again. And they remembered his words. And having returned from the tomb, they told all these things to the 11, and to all the rest. Now they were the Magdalene Maria, and Johanna, and Maria the mother of Jacob, and the other women with them. They were telling these things to the sent ones. And these words appeared in their sight as idle talk, and they disbelieved them. But Pedro, having been raised, ran to the tomb, and stooping and looking in, he is seeing the linen cloths by themselves. And he departed to his home, wondering at that which was become. And behold, two of them were going that very day to a village named Emmaus, which was 60 stadia from Jerusalem. And they were communing with each other of all these things which had happened. And it was in their communing and questioning together that Yeshua himself drew near and was going together with them. But their eyes were held, that they should not know him. And he said to them, What are these words which ye are tossing back and forth to each other, walking about? And they stood still, looking sad. And one of them, named Cleopas, having responded, said to him, Alone thou art sojourning in Jerusalem, and knew not the things having happened in it these days? And he said to them, What things? And they said to him, The things concerning Yeshua the Nazarene, who was a prophet mighty in deed and word before the God and all the people, and how the chief priests and our rulers delivered him up to be condemned to death, and crucified him. But we were hoping that it was he who should redeem Israel. But indeed, also with these things, this third day passeth from when these things happened. Moreover, certain women of our company amazed us, having been early at the tomb. And when they found not his body, they came saying that they had also seen a vision of messengers who said that he was alive. And certain of them that were with us went to the tomb, and found it even so as the women had said, but him they saw not. And he said to them, O unmindful men, and slow of heart to be believing upon all things which the prophets spoke. Was it not being necessary for the anointed to suffer these things, and to enter into his glory? And beginning from Moshe and from all the prophets, he interpreted to them in all the scriptures the things about himself. And they drew near to the city whither they were going, and he made as though he was to be going further. And they constrained him, saying, Abide with us, for it is toward evening, and already the day hath declined. And he went in to abide with them. And it was, when he had reclined with them to eat, having taken the bread, he blessed, and having broken it, he was giving to them. And their eyes were opened, and they knew him, and he became vanished from them. And they said to one another, Was not our heart burning within us, while he spoke to us in the way, while he opened to us the scriptures? And they, having been raised up in that hour, returned into Jerusalem, and found the 11 having gathered themselves together, and the ones with them, saying, The Lord was raised indeed, and hath appeared to Simon. And they were bringing out the things that happened in the way, and how he was known of them in the breaking of the bread. And they speaking these things, he himself stood in the midst of them, and is saying to them, Peace to you. But they were terrified and affrighted, and were supposing that they were beholding a spirit. And he said to them, What, ye are being ones having become troubled? And for what reason are questionings arising in your heart? See my hands and my feet, that I am being he. Handle me, and see, for a spirit is not possessing flesh and bones, according as ye are beholding me possessing. And when he had said this, he showed them his hands and his feet. And while they were still disbelieving for joy and wondering, he said to them, Are ye having anything edible here? And they gave him a piece of broiled fish, and he, having taken, ate before them. And he said to them, These are my words, which I spoke to you, whilst yet being together with you, that it is being necessary for all things to be fulfilled, all things having become written in the law of Moshe and the prophets and Psalms about me. Then opened he their mind to be understanding the scriptures, and he said to them, Thus it hath been written, that the anointed should suffer, and rise again out of dead ones the third day, and that repentance and remission of sins should be preached in his name to all the nations, having begun from Jerusalem. Ye are witnesses of these things. And behold, I am sending forth the promise of my Father upon you, but ye, tarry ye in the city, until when ye be clothed in power from on high. And he led them out until they were over against Bethaniah, and he, having lifted up his hands, blessed them. And it became, while he was blessing them, he parted from them, and was being carried up into the sky. And they, having worshipped him, returned into Jerusalem with great joy, and were being continually in the temple, blessing the God.